questions like in terms of independence of audit and threats. It is nothing but before when any audit is being accepted by a chartered accountant or auditor. So what are the threats he will be facing or he might be facing? If he facing all these threats means, then what is the course of action he has to do? And some areas he should not be compromised. He should be straightforward about the honesty and all these things in terms of general ethics, you can say in one word. So all these things will be covering up in this chapter. Okay. So this is what about this, and these, especially these areas, these topics in the previous institute material, it was covering up in the first chapter, which is called as nature and objective scope of audit. Okay, so but still where essay is involved, so that's why they have been these ethics and these headings onto it. Okay, and especially where this threat will happen basically when because before you accept the audit, right, at the time of engagement only, you will not come to know immediately when everyone will see that okay, a new client is coming, okay, we'll review them and we will see. But before you accept any of them, first you will see who is the client and what is the background of the business, what is the knowledge of the business and everything. You will see the fact whether the business is having some risk or not. Because in today's technology, there are certain businesses, it always carries a risk involved. It is not like those days, because nowadays a trend has been changed because of these technologies and many things are there, and you don't know how the system will react. Okay, I'll give you a beautiful example. Whenever there are some systems, when companies, right, they always previously they used to do manual bookkeeping, okay, in the handwritten. Then they slowly moved to some computerized software. Then they slowly moved into some normal Tally ERP. Then higher end solution like SAP or Oracle, they will keep on moving on to it. So when they keep on moving on to it, so what will happen is even in the current company where I'm working, right, even they had the SAP migration, because previously it was the old software they're using. So the new system, when it comes in place, you will have the risk involved. Some threats could happen. So you don't know. Like because of this migration, there could be some threat keeps on coming it up. So for you, when you're doing the course of audit, you will not come to know whether because of this migration happening, some businesses will become hugely impacted. Because I've seen it up in Gulf countries. Some companies, because of a proper guidance, what will happen is, and doing this migration, I mean 2-3 months, they will not be able to do any invoicing. They will not be able to do meet the customers' requirements. So what will happen is at the end of the day, 3 months it will not be done, and then subsequent guidances they'll be receiving it up from some expertise people. Immediately the migration will take place smoothly, and then they'll come up. So like this, because of this today's technology, a lot. Okay, and so what you will do at the end of the day, you will rely on the new system. Okay, instead of Tally software, you will be relying on the SAP software. So you will not come to know whether the SAP software is doing a proper accounting, when any entry is passed, whether it is getting posted to the relevant GL account. So how you will rely on this? So basically, all these threats will be coming upon into it. So because of these threats, what will happen is, in some areas, you will be forced to do compromising. Okay, leave it. Okay, this will happen. Okay, at the end of the day, there is no impact. You will slowly try to get diluted and compromised. So these are the areas. I'm just giving an example, but this is one of the situations where you will be asked some practical questions. Okay, how the threats have been involved. So now we will go through this chapter and then we will see how to make it up. Okay, let me share the PPT. And before that, I will take you through this PowerPoint material. Okay, after the end of the session, I will share this PPT PDF. Go through that. Okay, if you find something, some paragraphs, it is ups and down means, please do let me know, because I was rearranging the slides a few minutes back only, because completely everything was prepared. But what I did is I was just arranging it from the first chapter PowerPoint presentation, bring it up over here. If you feel that something is missing means, do let me know. We will ensure that in the next class, I will make it up for you. Okay. And as usual, the PDF presentation will be carrying the key points that will help you to recap in the examination. But you have to make in detail, especially this chapter is purely a theory oriented. Okay, when I say theory oriented, like no other option, you have to elaborate yourself. to the maximum extent possible, because you cannot write that question in this one words. Okay, that is what the point is. Right. So now the first one is about the what I can say is about the element system for quality control. When you say quality control means like what it is, what are the basic fundamental principles, how the ethics is working on it when it relates to audit of financial statement, how a chartered accountant should comply with the basic fundamental principles. So this is one of the basic question where like the everyone expects the auditors to be or comply these principles. Otherwise, it will lead to a ethics. Okay, so you have to comply with ethics, code of ethics. That is the most important thing. So it is nothing but about the 5 principles are there. One is integrity, objectivity, confidentiality, professional behavior, and professional competence and due care onto it. So for each and everything, you have to elaborate yourself. Okay, like I'm not telling you to write big paragraph. At least minimum 2-3 points you have to enhance your answers. So how you enhance it up? At least keeping these keywords in point of mind. So he should be integrated means every auditor should be straightforward case and honesty, and he should have a professional qualification in his hand. So all these things that comes in a part of the matter out of it. Objectivity means yes, it is not that objective of auditor. Objective means like you have to express your opinion, but that objective is different and this is different. This is about your fundamental principles. So don't mix it up, especially in these areas. Question always will be like very dicey only. It will not be straightforward. So you have to catch that keyword and then you have to conclude yourself. Okay, this question where we have to present the answer on this area. Okay, so objective is you should not be not to compromise yourself with the client, as I said before, right? Because sometimes what will happen is, especially in some new scenarios happening, so you will not have time to do the entire audit. So what will happen is you will fail to know that whether the risk is involved or not. So you will try to compromise yourself. So that is what it is. Always now with the news today's recent trend and all, you have to be very clear in which area you have to focus your auditor. In which area you have to assess yourself. Okay, where there is a risk is involved. Okay, in line with the SA 315, identify and assess the risk, SA 315. So nowadays, now that as and when the technology is happening, so you have to feel it is not like those days do vouching. Of course, vouching has to be done actually completely, but assess the risk, because when there is more risk, what will happen is it will impact your going concern. So many things are there actually, SA 570. So many are there. So you have to be very clear enough where you have to compromise, where you should not compromise. Okay, then professional competence and due care. Okay, this is the most simple. Always everyone has to be competent, especially professional courses. I will not speak separately CA, CWA. All are professionals. Okay, and you have to be so competent enough and due care to be taken. When you say competent means it will, yes, it will not come over the period of time. Okay, eventually as and when you go, your experience getting added in your career, you will start building your competency, and you will always keep on maintaining professional knowledge. Okay, the problem is, the problem when you start, you right, I mean when the problem when it starts is the moment when you finish your professional course, okay, after your completion, then only the real problem starts in life. You have to keep on updating yourself. You have to keep on reading. Okay, you have to everything like what to say, reading various acts. Okay, initially in my period of time, okay, or during that period 2016 and all, in India we had before that we had VAT. Gulf countries subsequently came VAT. Then by the time VAT became to GST in India. So many migration was taking place, and now in Gulf countries the VAT is coming up in place. Now slowly income tax is also coming in the Gulf countries, and all the corporates, they have to pay income tax. The competition of income, allowable expenditure, disallowable expenditure, those things are all coming slowly right now in the Gulf countries. Previously these things were not there. Direct tax and indirect tax were not there. Now the exposure is there for the chartered accountants. Okay, and especially we are coming from a different background, especially Indian chartered accountants, where all the taxation, much complications we have been seen onto it. So when you see all these things, it will be much more easier for you. So what I'm trying to say, there is a wide scope over here in the Gulf countries. So if you are much more competent enough, yes, you will be getting a good placements completely. Next is confidentially. Yes, of course, you have to maintain a good confidential information. You cannot keep on revealing your client information. Okay. That is the most important thing. The next one is professional behavior. Professional behavior is we do have a code of ethics and you have to comply with the certain laws and regulations. This is very, very important out of it. Okay, this is about the 5 fundamental principles. Now, going in detail, you have some certain types on the quality of control. When I say quality of control means like at a high level, it is about the independence of auditors, threats, safeguard to independence, and professional skepticism. How these areas are being handled by the auditors. Because what happens is, in each and every part of it, when you say independence means there is again thing is there. Are you independent in doing your audit? Then you will say that no, the client was influencing me. He was forcing me to give a clean opinion report. He was telling me not to give any disclaimer opinion. In reality, you will not be able to obtain any valid, sufficient audit evidences. So you will be confused onto it, whether to give any qualified opinion or a disclaimer opinion or an adverse opinion. Okay, rather giving, you are supposed to give this type of modified opinion report, but you will be forced to ask to give you clean report where there is no risk involved. All the material financial statements are free from, all the FS are free from material misstatement. So how you will be asked to give all these things, and whether we will be compromising all these things. So that is why each and every area, how it is being handled. So these are the 4 major gray areas where you have to be very cautious. Now, in each and every part, independence, threats, safeguard, independence, professional skepticism, we'll go each and every one onto it. Okay, again, in the institute meeting, they have given a vast explanation, but we have covered some certain key points. Of course, the 4-mark question, these are the key points are required. But again, you have to slightly enlarge these answers onto it. Okay. Now, how about the independence of auditors? What it is? Basically, it is just a minute, guys. Okay. So basically, you should be independent. Okay. Auditor should be independent of entity, subject to the audit, and there are 2 interlinked aspects are there for the independence. One is from the mind aspects, another one is on the appearance. Okay, so why they are using this word mind and appearance? Because sometimes what will happen is at the end of the day, you should be independent, correct? If you are not being independent, then what is the purpose of it? So that is why you're doing always you should be independent of the entity. So you should always permit the state of mind and provision of opinion. You should be very clear about your state of mind and provision of it without being affected by influence, allowing an auditor to act integrity and excess objectivity. See, and you should be very clear enough. You should act yourself. You should know which area to focus on the auditor. Okay. The next one is professional skepticism. Skepticism means always you should keep on asking questions to the others. Okay. Because if you are not asking any questions, then how you will come to know that there is area are free from risk or not, and you will not come to know that all these things, how it works onto it. Okay, and the next one is independence in appearance. So avoidance of facts and circumstances that are so significant. Third party would reasonably conclude an auditor's integrity or objectivity or professional skepticism has been compromised. Okay. So this is how it is about the mind and appearance. Okay. So sometimes what will happen is, like, especially in terms of independence and appearance alone, they will be asking a 2-mark question. So you have to be very clear how to make that point up. Okay. Now, the next one, this is a very, very, very important question. Every time this is keep on appearing onto it. Okay. So what is happening is threats to independence. So what is this threats basically? Is it how this is, in what situation it is coming on? Okay. So basically these are the 5 threats are there. One is a self-interest threat, self-review threat, advocacy threat, familiarity threats, intimidation threats. Okay. If it is there, if the question is being asked commonly means, yes, in a formal question you have to elaborate all these things. Even each threat you have to give some 2 points at least minimum. Okay. If it is a 2-mark question means they might ask you whether this particular area is it a self-interest threat, like that they will ask you. So then you should say that yes, it's a part of self-interest threat because the main partners of a chartered accountant is getting benefit out of it. So let me go in detail. So what is self-interest threat actually? So self-interest means sometimes the main partner of an audit firm, he might be getting benefit from the financial interest from the firm, from the client. So what type of interest? Sometimes you will be asking a guarantee from the client for your personal use. Okay. Even sometimes in that financial statements, you may be having a direct interest. Either you may be having some shareholding investments, or it could be some certain things like your close relationship might be associated with the client. Okay. Because of which you are having your direct, it might be indirectly your company. Okay. Your close relation might be the major investor shareholder. At the end of the day, you will be influencing him. You will be deciding him what to do. So these are the threats are there. Okay. Next one is self-review threat. So what happens is this is basically nothing but a review of any judgment. Okay. Any judgment and a conclusion has been taken based on the previous audit. How you can do these things? So last year could be a different situation. It doesn't mean the same situation could be there in this year also. So that is certainly impossible. Taking a conclusion on the basis of previous audit. So that is the biggest threat is there. And what will happen is at the end of the day, you will give something a wrong opinion. Then later on, you will get some sufficient evidences. Then again, you'll be forced to issue a modified opinion report. So this is how the situation correlate each and everything. You have to correlate the channel completely. Then only you'll be able to make it out. Then the advocacy threats. Advocacy threat is nothing but you are promoting the client's opinion. And what will happen is at the end of the day, you will go and say something. The investors and the users of the financial statement, they will invest something wrongly. And at the end of the day, your objectivity, when you are expressing your opinion, that is getting compromised, right? That is your main objective of the auditor. Your opinion should be very clear. You should ensure that financial statement is free from material misstatement and it is free from risk. So what will happen is when you're doing all these things, your opinion and objective is getting compromised. So you should not, I mean, the auditor should not do these things. Next one is familiarity threats. What does it mean actually? So this is nothing but this is the where the relationship with the client and end up being too sympathetic. Being too sympathetic. What does sympathetic means? Sometimes what will happen is someone of a relative will be working in a senior position. Okay. Or neither the partner of the major firm, he might be very close friend of a director, of a senior employee. Okay, sometimes what will happen is long association. Might be 35 years client. See, that is also it is there. We cannot because of a long standing association, you cannot conclude that there is a threat is there. Okay, sometimes some people will be very clear. The friendship is different and the professionalism is totally different. So what will happen is irrespective of the long association also, what they will do, they'll be very clear enough. Okay, and in terms of expressing the opinion, so they'll be independent. That is the point over here. Then the last one is intimidation threats. What it is, the auditors are being deterred from acting. This is very, very important. So what are when they are being deterred means how come is being deterred? Due to disagreements of opinions. Reduction in fees. You will not agree. He will say he will pay only 5,000. You will ask for 10,000. I will give you an example. So this is how the threats are being involved. At the end of the day, these everything comes under their quality of control, because these are the areas, if your quality is getting compromised, no use at the end of the day. So your opinion will go for a big risk. And based on opinion, many people are getting involved, especially the users of the financial system, getting trust onto it. Your new admission of a partner or investors, bankers, so all are involved in it. So at the end of the day, you should not compromise yourself. You should be very clear and give your opinion correctly, whether it's adverse or disclaimer or qualified opinion. Okay. Now, we covered two things onto it. The next one is safeguard independence and professional skepticism. We have to cover onto it. Now, what is safeguard independence? Okay. Again, before that, in the institute material, these things will be like a big headings. Even a one word heading itself will be like a big heading. Understand the heading and make sure that in the examination, okay, in this area the question has been asked, because especially in the first in this chapter, 11th chapter, as I was telling you, questions all will be much more similarity enough. So don't conclude by seeing that one word. Understand the requirements, and that word has been asked for what purposes, and then you present your answer in the examination point of view. Now coming back to here, this is about the safeguard of independence. So what it is? So you should safeguard yourself completely. At the end of the day, first of all, you should be independent. If you are not being independent, then you are not protecting the interests of the public or the users or the bankers or the partners admission, because they rely on you, obviously, correct? So you have to public to have confidence. Of course, when the public is having the confidence only, it is essential auditors should always be independent. And again, the key fundamental principles, those same thing, integrity, objectivity, independence, the initial chapter study type. Then before undertaking any work, you should thoroughly consider whether it involves any threats. You remember, beginning of this chapter I was telling you, right? You have to first assess whether any risk, because in today's date, certain businesses are completely risk is being carried out and you don't know, or you or we don't know completely what will be the implication, what is the background involved, because after you enter into that thing, then you will come to know. I'll tell you another beautiful example. Some business owners will be entering into multiple contracts with the customers. If any one contract is getting missed out, and at the end of the day you are being pulled to the court, and you will be ending up with paying the compensation, and that will be biggest risk. It will ruin your company. So always, whenever you enter into any contracts for any businesses, you have to make sure that legal vetting is being obtained. When you say legal means, yes, some corporates, they will have their own legal team embedded in the organization itself. When I say embedded means, it is good. They work for their company exclusively, that legal team. So they will review the contracts. Of course, finance team also will review the contracts. So in the corporates, both the teams will review the contracts. One is legal, another one finance also. So first will legal, from the legal term point of view, then finance team will review the contract from the financial point of view. When I say financial point of view is mainly the payment terms. You have to ensure that the customer is paying within 30 days, within 60 days. You cannot expect that customer to pay, okay, let him pay after 1 year. Will you accept it? No. So if there is anything is there, you have to ensure that finance point of view, and whether any other risk has been involved. So when you are reviewing this contract from the finance team point of view, so that is how the finance manager also plays over here, key role plays over here, okay? So you have to review the contract. So understand the business nature, why the contract is being made between the supplier and the customer. So, okay, so that is how it is actually. So all these things are there. So you should be, so from audit point of view, you don't know what type of contracts are there. And these contracts could be a contingent liability as per AS 29. Because you don't know it, there could be certainty or uncertainty. It may or may not happen. So, okay. So that is how it is. I'm just covering up the entire scenario, what and each and everything means also. Before understanding any work, you should always thoroughly consider whether it involves any threats or not. That is how it is. So you will not come to know. Then again, if there is any threat exists, means auditor should either desist from the task or put it in place. Okay, if auditor is unable to fully implement, then fully he must not accept the work. So this is what it is actually. But what happens is in some today's situation, some people will take the risk. When we take the risk means we are capable of handling it and mitigating the risk. That is the point over here. It is not about accepting the risk. You should be able to capable of handling the risk, managing the risk, and measure that risk, whether it is high risk, medium risk, or low risk. Okay, classify the risk, and then you have to mitigate them. You have to give proper solution, recommendation. Okay, this is how it works. Especially in the beginning of the chapter, in the risk chapter, you might have studied about all these things, correct? So that is how it works actually. Now, the next one is professional skepticism. What is skepticism actually? Here, as I said, yes, you have to keep on asking questions. Not only that, keeping asking questions, you should be alert. That is the most important thing. So sometimes what will happen is the evidence, whatever you obtain, that contradicts the other audit evidence obtained. Okay, so immediately you should not conclude with the getting of one evidence. Same transaction, when you're getting another subsequent backup or some other evidences, your decision will change completely. So this is how it works actually. So what will happen is you should always be clear. Then information that brings into question about the reliability of the documents and response to inquiries. So what then again subsequently what you have to rely, whether it is reliable, whether it is a direct evidence or indirect evidence, you should rely onto it completely. Okay. Then conditions that may indicate actually. Okay, and then suggest the need of audit procedures. So you have to recommend what is the procedure, and again maintain professional skepticism throughout the audit. When you say maintain means throughout the audit, you have to keep on asking questions. It doesn't mean that one area you raise questions, other area you should compromise and not being raising questions. No, that is not the way and approach. Overlooking unusual circumstances. We don't know. Sometimes what will happen is you may be oversighted, and that unusual circumstances will lead into a big risk actually. Okay. Then the other one is over generalizing when drawing conclusions from audit observations. Sometimes you should be very cautious. Otherwise, what happens? It leads into a risk. Using inappropriate assumptions in determining. Always you should do appropriate assumption because, as I told you, not only you, even the client also may be using various judgments and estimates. We studied that previously, accounting estimates, judgments. So you have to ensure because you have to review that. And if there is anything is there, you have to mention in the audit report also, correct? So these inappropriate assumptions, what happens, it will put you into risk actually. So at the end of the day, you have to ensure that very cautious during the nature and extent of audit procedure involved. Okay. Again, in these areas, in the institute material, you do have a very big explanation, but these are the major points are getting covered on it. Please ensure that it has been done. Okay. Now, the next one is about the SA 210. Okay, SA 210 is nothing but now we are slowly entering into the standards auditing. Okay, so that's what it is. So SA 210 means nothing but about the agreeing on the terms of audit engagement. So what it is actually. Okay, what is audit engagement? Before you accept the audit, a preliminary discussion takes place between you and your client. Okay, in this area, you should also understand. You should understand the knowledge of the business basically. If you are not able to understand the knowledge of the business, no point in undertaking the audit action. So again, you should have a clear picture how the business is being driven. Okay. The next one is scope of work. You should be very clear enough which are the areas you're going to cover. Because sometimes in a big organizations, you will say that stock taking I will not do. You have to appoint your internal audit. Internal audit will be a part of your company organization. They will do the stock taking and they will issue the report and you will rely on that report. Okay. This is nothing but work done by the another auditor, which you know that, correct? So this is how it always takes place. So what will happen is during the engagement itself, you should be very clear enough what you will do, what you will not do, so that everything has been documented in the engagement letter and that engagement letter has been signed by the auditor. And that will also be clearly mentioned to what extent of the pay, which financial is going to do. Okay, before you accept the engagement letter, you have to get a NOC from the previous outgoing auditor because it's part of code of ethics. Okay, so everything it is there. Once you get the NOC, then everything you will be able to move forward in accepting the new audit. So this is about the agreement on terms of audit engagements at a higher picture. But now going in detail to the specific requirement. There are some things are the preconditions of audit, how it works on board. So before accepting audit, these are the preconditions. See the wordings. Whether are they in place in the engagement letter? Yes, it is there in the place. Are they clearly defining your scope of work? Yes, it has been properly been written. Is it being circulated to the auditor after post signing? Yes, there is no misunderstanding. Everything mutually agreed. So this is how the requirements in terms of preconditions of audit, okay, and the engagement letter is taking place, and you do have a specific format letter is there, okay, so that formatting letter always happens on it, and in that letter you have to do the signing by both the parties. One is the you and the other is the client actually. Now, used by agreement means used by management of an acceptable financial reporting framework in preparation of financial statements, and the agreement of management to those charged in the governance of the premises where the audit has been conducted. So this is very, very important. These are the major terms. So you have to be very clear enough whether the agreement has been prepared or not. Now, provided to the auditors is what the client will provide. The basic thing is access, system access, the floor access. You have the right to enter the manufacturing department area, go to other department, sales department, purchasing department, procurement department, whether all the controls are being followed or not. How will you come to know? So you should have proper access. Without access, you can't even enter the premises. You will be standing at the security only. So what will happen is you have to make sure that proper access is being obtained. It's very important. The word access is very important. So right from all the departments, right from the factory, because I'll give you another beautiful example. In my experience, when we did the audit for the pharmaceutical company in Madras, okay, we are the external auditors for that company. So what we should do is we will ensure that the proper access is being obtained even in all the departments. The proper communication will be going on to it. Okay, it will be there in the engagement letter, but still communication. So you have to ensure that the request has been properly been given. Okay, so during the course of audit, you are not restricted. You will be given unrestricted access within the entity. You can enter everywhere. Okay, it doesn't mean that you have to go to the director's room, but on the production during the course of audit, what are the key areas? You will be given a unrestricted access. Even the system access, not only the view access, you will be able to have the option of passing the entry. Okay, so that is how the access is being made. But even in some organization, because of risk purpose, what they will do, when you say risk means both the sides to avoid the risk, they will say you review in detail. You will be given a full access for the viewing. Wherever you want to pass entry, you click that request immediately. The team will upload the journal entries or pass the accounting entries. That is how it works. That is the way of these I mean, in today's recent trend, this is what is happening. Before under what we will do, we will be having tally software. We ourselves pass the entry. Straight away identification. We will take a printout. Why a printout is? That's evidence. Previously, the client has passed that entry, and now this entry is getting ratified. Okay, so that's what it is. Now, coming back to here. Access all information such as record, document, other matters. Additional information auditor may request from the management. Yes, of course, you have the right to ask for more detailed information till you get satisfied. You have to keep on asking more sufficient audit evidences or appropriate audit evidences to make sure that you are getting fully satisfied. Not only that, there is the SA is also there. Even external confirmation, internal confirmation is there. Okay, so you have to ensure that. Then unrestricted access to the person within the entity from whom auditor is determined to obtain evidences. This is most very important. So these are the areas where the client have to provide the auditors. If these things are not provided, how will you be able to complete the audit on time as per the audit planning or the audit program wise? It will be certainly difficult. And what will happen is if you are finding it difficult, it is leading into a restriction on your scope of audit. You cannot have any restriction onto it. So these are the points where at the engagement letter, where these areas where the client provides to the auditors. Again, I'm telling the reason is in the examination, this area can be asked onto it. Only these 3 points they might expect it. What are the in the engagement letter, what is being provided to the auditors? So it could be some different aspects onto it. Okay. Then agreement. Yes, it is important to be clear for both the parties. It must be in writing. Defining scope of letter sent to the auditors to the client to avoid misunderstanding. This is a very most important thing. To avoid misunderstanding, a letter has been sent by the auditor to the client. In case of firms, few more precautions are needed. Appointment is done by the partnership. Sometimes, yes, even still they are preparing the deal also. Stamp paper they are preparing. And that stamp paper is getting registered. Especially for LLP, limited liability partnerships and partnership firms and all, they prepare onto it the deed. Because that is the only letter. See, for the partnership firms and all, you will not have any, any valid evidence that he is auditor for this year. Until unless you file the return of income, then you will come to know that, okay, this auditor is a external auditor for the partnership firm. To avoid all these things, they prepare the partnership deed. Whereas for companies, public companies, private companies and all, there's a proper procedure is there, MC is there, you have to do a registration, in the general meeting has been appointed, and you have been getting registered onto it, everything, there is a proper document is there. Compliance is a law, regulation act is there, companies act is there. So you will come to know that for this company, you are the auditor. Whereas for proprietary firms, individuals, LLP, partnership firms, all these things and all, you will not have records. That is why it has been governed by partnership, especially engagement letters, to avoid risk, to have more precautions. All right. Now, limitation scope of audit, prior to audit, engagement acceptances. Okay. Sometimes what will happen is you will be limited to certain areas. Even in the engagement, they will be mentioning, okay, yes, 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 you can have the access. But after going there, situation it will turn upside down. They will not give any documents. You will keep on asking them, sending emails. Documents will not be received by the client. Again, I'll give you an example. Even in my experience, it's been head on to it. So what happens is, because we are working for the company, correct? So when we are working for the company, when the external does Big Four comes onto a place, they will keep on asking you to it. We might be working on a different task exercise. We might not be having time to give the audit documentation. So what will happen is your line manager will fire you. He will shout at you. Why you are not giving the evidence on time? All these things can happen. By the time what will happen is the Big Four, these guys, they will think that okay, there is a limitation. But in some cases, yes, there will be limitations. We will not share any confidential information, payroll information, we will not give. But we will give a what to say, a letter of confirmation. That letter of confirmation will help the auditors to back up themselves. They will mention in the report that okay, as confirmed by the client, because he will obtain a confirmation, audit confirmation is obtained. Even there is SA is there, audit confirmation is there. So wherever it is there, the confirmation will be obtained actually. So that's why, so you have to, if there's anything means the client will impose limitation scope of work. Auditors believes that, and that will result into a disclaimer opinion. I told you, no, if you are finding any limitations, immediately you have to change your opinion immediately. If you feel that, if it is a pervasive and material misstatement, and you are not able to obtain any evidence, straight away adverse opinion. Sometimes you will be having evidence, or you might not be having evidence, but the main objective is your financial statement is too pervasive, and as a misstatement means straight away disclaimer opinion. We studied in the previous chapter, so that is what it is. The next one is auditors shall not accept any limited engagement. Okay, acceptance or any change in the terms. So how it happens? There could be any change in circumstances affecting the need of services, misunderstanding nature of audit, a restriction in the scope of engagement. So what happens is subsequently there could be some circumstances happening on the changes in the terms. After acceptance, there could be any changes in the terms. So this is what it is. So what happens is due to this changes in the term of scope, sometimes auditor is unable to agree. The reason is you might be given something, the client might be assuming something, and at the end of the day it contradicts your scope of work and all these things. So you are left with two options, either accept or withdraw. If you withdraw, if you are not unable to agree, means you withdraw, possibly under the application laws or regulations. If it is a company's act, means the auditor will vacate the office and go away. The relevant section of the provisions will be applicable. Determine whether any obligations, either contractual, to report the circumstances to other parties. If there's anything obligation is there, you have to report them. Okay, such as those who charge with the corporate governance, owners or regulators, you have to notify them. Revoke, withdraw the audit engagement completely if you're unable to accept it. If there is anything changes after accepting, there is any change in the term, that is how it works, please. So read the heading, because in the institute material, the heading itself will be very little bit slightly vast. Okay, but I have captured the key wordings onto it. If you find anything difficult when you are reading and comparing these things, please let me know. We will run through this chapter again in the next session. Okay, don't assume and keep it yourself. Assume that something unnecessary, it will be a headache, and you will write something in the examination, unnecessary answer will go away. So don't take any risk onto it. Then, what are the points to be recorded in the engagement letter? It's a very, very, very important point. because you do have a specific format. Okay. And then what happens is, what are the points to be recorded? Because these are the areas where, because yes, they will not ask like essay 2 can write fully. In that essay, there will be some particular areas they will be asking in examination. This is what is the essay of auditing. Because in each essay, you will be having multiple vast range. So you have to be very clear what is the requirement and what has been asked onto it. Okay. Now, what are the points to be recorded? Objective and scope of audit, of course. Your objective is to opinion. Scope is what are the areas. Responsibilities, yes. Responsibility of management, yes, it should be mentioned clearly. Identification of applicable financial reporting framework for the preparation of financial statement. Because at the end of the day, whether you're doing the company audit, for the companies or societies or a trust, any audit, it is always to have an engagement letter. It is like an offer letter. Without offer letter, how you go and work there? So same thing only. Then reference to the expected form and content of any reports to be issued to the auditor. Of course, subsequently, there should be some forms and everything. Sometimes they used to get registered in nowadays. Now, the next one is, again, you have to enhance these points. I'm just giving you the key points. So that will help you to understand what it is. Then, what are the factors may be appropriate to revise the terms of audit engagement after accepting post audit? Okay, what are the factors to be revised? Okay, any indication that entity misunderstands scope of audit work. Sometimes entity client might be misunderstanding on the scope. He might be assuming, oh, we thought the department only, but you are not doing the manufacturing area. You have to go and do the audit manufacturing area. So what happens is scope getting enhanced from one area to another area. It's getting enhanced. So you might be wondering that, okay, you don't need to go to the manufacturing area, only the head office departments, all these things. No, you have to cover all the areas completely. Promotion department, marketing department. Marketing department is the area money will go like anything. That is what is the leakage area, cash outflow. So what will happen is you have to cover the entire thing of it. It doesn't mean that by seeing the entry person. No. Sometimes you have to see any marketing spent, you have to see whether any TDS to be charged, directed or not. Then any revised or special term, recent change in the senior management, significant change in the ownership, significant change in the nature of sales of the entity, change in legal or regulatory requirements. When I say legal regulation, sometimes a private company becomes a public company. Nature and size will have a change. Ownership will change. Shareholders may change. Change in FR reporting, adopted for preparation of financial. Sometimes a partnership from converting into LLP. So your presentation of financials undergo change from a partnership to a private limited company. So you have to comply with your Companies Act. So your reporting framework will differ. Companies Act is previous year, current year you have to present it up. Correct. So all these things are the any change in other reporting requirements. So these are the appropriate areas to revise the terms of audit engagements. So whenever you feel across, these are the areas on here. Now, SA 220 we finished. Now SA 220 is the last area. Okay, with this first chapter is getting over. Okay, I will complete this SA 220 also. So once we complete this SA 220, then we will be having the two chapters. The one chapter 7 with all the essay, and also SA 299 and SA 600 I have to teach you also, correct, in the auditor's report chapter. That also will be taking through in tomorrow's session. Okay, in addition to that, there's a chapter called report, 5th chapter is there, correct, right? Okay, tomorrow we will try to finish all the essays completely. Okay, if time permits, next week only one class alone, I will confirm the time with Bakia. The early morning, like how we had no 7 o'clock in some other weekdays, I will confirm you. Okay, because of the one chapter, because 5th chapter. Okay, but today we will be finishing this because we are the last SA 220. And in the institute material, in every chapter you have the case law questions. Please go through those questions because that itself will give you a much more competency level where and how to handle all these questions. So if you read these things, that will give you a clear picture onto it. Okay. Now the SA 220, what it is actually? It's about the quality of control. Okay, what is the quality of control? Yes, you should have a proper quality in place. Leadership. The main firm, the audit firm partner should take the responsibility. Leadership. Ethical requirements. Yes, you should be properly ethical. Acceptance and continuance of client relationship and specific engagement. Yes, you should have proper thing. You should accept and continue. Human resources. Yes. Then engagement performance monitoring. What are these things actually? Even though we say it's a quality of control in elements of system, but still these are the things where it includes your policies and things onto it. So what is the leadership takes place onto it? So each and every heading only we will be going through slightly. What is how it has been dealt onto it. Okay. Now, so this engagement letter means yes, the engagement part. Sorry, the engagement partner he shall take the responsibility for the overall quality on each audit engagement because yes, the key person will be taking the lead and he will ensure that overall quality is being maintained. Imagine if the quality is not maintained. I still remember my principal used to say the quality of work what we provide, the work what we render services, it will be more quality. You say, and after that only then I will be able to correlate. So this is the overall quality. So in some audits and all, you will be asked to do only stock taking. Okay, stock audits assignments will be there. So I remember ran back and all we went actually with my teammate before. So when we do the stock taking, you should have a do it on a proper quality way. You should download the report from the system SAP software, bring it in Excel, arrange them, make it a proper grid lines. Okay, book stock, add a column physical stock. So you should have more competency in handling the Microsoft Excel. I'm telling you, if possible, attend the Excel course now itself. Excel and Microsoft Word. These are the two major things. Without knowing Excel, you cannot survey in any finance team. Even if you go for a corporate player, even if you do practice, you should know the Excel thoroughly. Many formulas are there. Okay. So that is what it is actually. Quality. See how we are correlating. Quality. So if the overall, if you imagine, if you're doing stock taking, you are just anyway taking printer from the system and then you are doing a tick. Will that work out? No. Because you will be having materials and stock items a lot. It will go for more than 500 or 1000 items. So you should make a proper box. You should have, when you take a printout, you have to ensure that proper field is there. Like a material part number, material name, location, bin location. So when you take the entire printout proper manner, so the quality speaks. So you take the responsibility. Okay. Actions and appropriate messages to other members of the engagement team. Of course, after you take it up, discussion with the engagement team. He will discuss with our audit team members. Importance of audit quality, performing the work that complies with professional standards, regulatory legal requirements. When you say regulatory means, you have to ensure that if it's a company, means companies act has to be followed. Complying in the firm's quality control policy and procedures. Issuing auditors report that are appropriate. Engagement team's ability to raise concerns without any fears. This is the most important thing. Engagement team means about me only, all the audit staff. So you will be nominated to carry the audit and you shouldn't be very fair. Even I, first time, when I was about to go to first time to claim place, I was literally scared and pissed off. Okay. And then what happens is you will feel very shy to interact, go and introduce yourself itself. The first, I remember still the first day, it was a 2008 actually. They said go to this client place. That's it, finish. So you are being thrown inside the well. You have to go yourself and swim and completely. So if you keep on raising your concerns without any fear, your quality will improve. If you are compromising, they will overtake you. They will take advantage of you. Still, I am also learning that it's a learning lesson because experience goes. You have to keep on learning. Okay. So that is how it takes place. So your quality and all these things comes in place, and these are the most important. So actions and appropriate messages to other members. When you say means the engagement partner will inform the engagement team what action to be taken and how to be followed onto it. At the end of the day, it's a part of your quality control audit. The leadership. Then acceptance and continuance of client relationship. Okay, acceptance and client specific engagement. What does it mean? Before accepting, we need to ensure appropriate procedure is satisfied. Okay, then again you might ask me, uh, by reading the engagement, don't conclude it is essay 210. It is very clear. They will ask you the questions will say about your quality of control and what are the qualities to be maintained in terms of acceptance of clients, relationship, and specific engagement. The question they will ask like that only. So read the question twice, thrice, and understand whether it is from essay 220 or essay 210. Don't conclude by seeing the word engagement. It is engagement. No. So be very cautious. So before accepting, you need to ensure appropriate procedures are satisfied. Integrity of principal owners, key management, and those charged with the corporate. Always this TCWG is very, very important. Those who charge with the corporate governance. Engagement team is competent to perform audit and has capabilities. Yes. So imagine if your principal is feeling that you are not worthy, will he send you to the audit? No. But still, there is what it is. All the principals, our audit partners, they will take risk. Okay, he's a new person. Okay, put him in that area first. Let him do vouching. I still remember I did vouching actually, and then BRS. Sometimes what will happen is if you are not climbing the ladder and if you are not proactive, till all the 3 years you will do vouching only because he will not come to know that you are showing interest or not. So if you raise your concerns at the next level, he will see that okay, this guy is climbing up, he's learning things. Okay, we will from vouching next to BRS, next we will put to the GL ledger review, then preparing financials, then notes and accounts, core audit preparation, then tax audit preparation, then return filing. So MCA filing, then it goes on stage wise. So how will it is like getting a promotion from a normal manager to manager, then CEO, CFO, all the grade levels are there in organization, correct? So you have to keep on climbing the ladder. So you should not go and sit in the place. Okay, come out from the comfort zone. Okay, so that's what it is. Then engagement team is so both firm and team has to comply with ethical. Yes, we have to be ethically comply. Significant matters that arise during the current or previous audit implications. So you have to discuss that, and then sometimes what will happen is because of the previous audit, in the next year it will be question mark whether that the principal will deserve to continue the audit for the day or not. He will say, I don't want to continue with your claim because he will foresee there is something risk is there. And again, you will not be able to assess your risk if you are not updated with the present trend of the knowledge of the business. That's why we're telling you, understand the knowledge of the business, and then only you'll be able to take the risk, then only you'll be able to handle the risk and then mitigate it up. The next one, human resources. What is human resources? It is nothing but the firm. We audit firm should ensure proper policies in place. So the recruitment, performance evaluation, capability, competencies, career development, promotion, compensation, estimation of person needs. So these things are all there. So if the audit partner are not quality control of enough, and if he is not following these things, imagine what you do. He will not be able to do anything without your audit staff. So that is why we have to follow all these things. The human roles, HR, policy and procedures in place. Then engagement performance. 22 things are there. Engagement and monitoring are there. Now we will be going to engagement performance. Again, by seeing the word, don't conclude. This is a part of your SQ220 essay. Okay, so don't conclude yourself. It is belong to essay 210. I'm telling you. So before audit, following matters to be addressed on how to on the elements from the control point of view. How engagement team are briefed for the engagement to obtain understanding of scope of work. So yes, so you have to address these issues because what is happening is at the end of the day, this is nothing but your engagement team is getting involved. See, when your engagement team performs well, your quality is improved and you are able to address all the issues. You are able to do the audit on time. If there is the engagement team is not proper, your quality will not be in place properly. There will be huge risk involved. That is how the context in this area. Okay. Now, how and whether are they briefed by the partner? Yes, I still remember before going to the Taj audit and all, my partner was briefing about the hotel industry audit. What are the areas to be covered? Bar area, kitchen area, KOT, lobby, banquet hall. Okay, room rent, how the occupancy level involved. Okay, and the travel desk. Many departments have the parking area, cafeteria area. Okay, and the receptions parts of it. How the what to say? How the contracts have been dealt onto it. So many are there. So you will come to know about all these areas, restaurants, restaurant revenue, Okay, what are the types of revenue coming from the hotel business? So that briefing, always the briefing will takes place. I still remember, not only in the hotel industry, even for the oil industry, Arcot sunflower oil, that type of industry also, he was briefing us. I still remember those days. So again, you have to be very clear. So it doesn't matter how you get exposed yourself. Okay, I understand. For some people will not be getting the opportunity. Some will be getting the opportunity. So if you want to do any audit, you do let me know. I will refer you to the firm where I did it up. Okay. At the same time, you should also have time to study. Some if you go and join Big Four, they'll put you through tour audit completely. You will be outside completely the audit only. You will not be back to home for a continuous more than month also. You'll be staying in the hotels. It will be nice only. 1 week it will be nice. 2 weeks it will be nice. Then from third week you will get annoyed. Going to hotel, going to client, eating outside food. You'll be getting literally irritated only. Okay. Now coming back to here. So process of engagement supervision, staff training, method of reviewing the work performed, significant judgments made, forms of report being issued, appropriate documentation work performed, process to keep all the policies and procedures current. So all these things, even when you, if you're audit staff, if you going for audit, you have to build all the documentation, and then that documentation you do a proper filing that these are the areas audit has been covered onto it. Why you are doing documentation is after 3-4 years, peer review audit will be coming. You know what is peer review audit? The audit firm itself will be audited by another chartered accountant from the institute level to ensure that whether are we providing a proper quality of services. So we will be audited at the time of peer review. The audit firm will be audited. That will get audited. The audit firm will get audited by another audit firm. The guidance given with our institute. So that is called as peer review audit. So if you are not maintaining the quality, the person who is going to do the audit for that audit firm, and if he comes to know, that's it. He will immediately he will remove the membership from the institute thing of it. So you have to be very clear, maintain the quality, then monitoring. So you have to be very clear, monitoring adherence to professional standards and related legal requirements, whether the quality controls are properly designed and implemented effectively. So you have to keep on monitoring. At the end of the day, we are talking about the quality control. So if that system has not been framed properly, no point in use. So firm has to maintain a good quality procedure and have been appropriately applied under all the circumstances. So this is how it is. So now these things and all, it was in the part of the first chapter. Okay. If you want, I will keep this thing. I mean, I'm not going to delete all these things. Okay. But don't get confused and carried away because I'm not sure whether it is there or not. Okay. So you have to read till this slide only, monitoring only. Okay, this is about the pool in the first chapter. Okay, I will send this for you right now after this call. Tomorrow timing, give me some time. I'll confirm you. Tomorrow we'll be dealing with all the essay. Okay, I will do one thing. I will run through this essay quickly. Okay, and then in the chapter 7 only. Forget about this. This one it is a completely not required. So whatever essays are being dealt in 7th chapter, and even this essay 299 correct now we didn't do joint audit, and essay 600 something was there, right? Using the work of you remember the auditor's report. So these things will be covering it up as well. Okay, and I think joint audit we finished. I think so. Correct now we have to do only this essay 600. Correct, right? Joint audit we finished. Correct. We have to cover up. We have to cover this SA 600. I think one more was there. I don't know which one it is. Branch auditor. Yes. Okay. So this is the one I believe. I think so. So we will cover up all these things and along with the 7th chapter. I don't know 7th chapter which are the ones are there. Let me see because I'll say it. So SA 560. Let me put a color on it. SA 560, SA 450, SA 580, then SA 260. Very important. This is what it is. Those who be charged with the corporate governance used to say, correct. Then SA 265, I think that's it. I think so. Then this one SA 600 will come. We have to delta, correct? Other essays all done with it. The ma'am has been finished. Are you sure? Anyways, I'll do one thing. Okay, already in the for the previous batch, I had an essay over here. Okay, this essay is about some 46 pages are there. I will give you this essay for you. Okay, 580 is there, no? Yes. See here. So already keep it is there. I prepared for the last batch actually. 580 is there. 501. Many are there actually. Irrespective of it, I'll give you this PowerPoint presentation. Okay. Uh, 510 also, 510 also is there, no? 510. See here, 510 is there. All we prepared many things actually. Okay, I will prepare this. I mean, even going concern is here. We even though we built on it the previous chapter, so many things are there here. Okay, and if it is required, we will discuss that in detail. Okay. 1 minute, because I want to know where are these essays are lying. Because already in the previous chapter I had it up all these things. So that's what it is. I'll pick it up from there. Okay, guys. Take care. Tomorrow timing I'll confirm you. I'll confirm madam. Uh, I'll do one thing. I will literally send this right on our itself. This allows I'll send you the PDF from my itself. Okay. Okay, I'll send that in PDF to Bhargav madam. You may collect them today itself. Start reading. Don't waste your time. Hardly finish the exam actually. Sorry? Oh my God. Oh my God. Have you start finished? I mean, preparing everything? How is the preparation is going on for you guys? Have you started the revision? Please start revising. For revising, you need minimum 2 months, especially for all the problems. Okay, even for theory also you need 2 months. So please start studying, I believe. Okay, at least these PowerPoint presentation will give you a quick refresher for you. Early morning, keep it for auditing and accounting standards. This is my suggestion actually. Morning, 1.5 hours for auditing, 1.5 hours for accounting standards, and 1.5 hours for standards auditing. Okay, and again in the alternate days, law paper, some other theory papers for cost accounting. What you have to keep on swapping. Monday today this one, Tuesday another thing, Wednesday this one, Thursday. You should keep on repeating, and then the afternoon timing, keep all the problematic thing onto it. And always in the evening fresh timing again, keep some anything theory you want to study, you keep that studying. Theory always keep it in the morning session, then only you'll be able to quickly make it up. Okay, start revising, go through the previous year question papers, RTPs. Okay, pick up one chapter, and then once you finish, don't do random like moving here and there. Take one chapter, read it thoroughly, and then refer the institute or the practice manuals or something, RTP. Okay, take care guys, have a nice day.